So I started my business. Actually, I started out as a photographer. So my dad was a photographer, and I decided to join the art school and then joining him in the studio to help him out and learn, the profession. I loved it. It was a creative profession, and so it had the opportunity to meet many nice requirements, because we were also working a lot abroad. We were fashion photographers, so it was very nice. Beaches and tropical sceneries we were going around. And then after 10 years of this life, I wanted a family, and I wanted, to settle more down, and this kind of life was not matching a more family lifestyle. And so I pivoted, and I started to create digital image, the digital corporate image for small businesses. So I started to create a little bit of branding, website, graphic design, everything. And I specialized into therapists, healers, and coaches. So this kind of people who had problems into sharing what they did to help other people. So I am good into creating also, and also untangling the knots in the minds of this kind of professionals to express what they do to other people, so that they can understand, okay, maybe I should need, I don't know, a family coach, a health coach, and so they can start to interact with them. And so I started to actually do the creative image of this kind of small businesses. And then I love marketing, so I implemented also the marketing side, also because many of them needed to promote themselves and didn't know how to really go into a holistic kind of marketing approach, like not the pushy one, more soft one, more oriented into giving value, because they were talking about some sensitive topics. So it was important that beyond the paid ads, there was also some value and some content that was given. And so that is basically how now I have arrived to Cansulta, because of course I decided to expand myself even in other countries worldwide. And so this is a great opportunity, in my opinion. I like marketing and communication very much. I am a visual person, so I like all the visual expression. I like the psychology behind the choices that the consumers or the users do. So that is something also that makes me love UX and UI in different ways. So to answer your question, yes, I always wanted to express in a certain way in my purpose, my identity, into something that could be also remunerative for me. But on the other side, I wanted also something that could balance my work and life, especially with kids. Yeah. So this kind of business allows me to be flexible and to have time also for my family, because when I grew up, the only way in which I could see my dad was if I was in the studio, sometimes working. So this kind of approach, that was the approach of our parents. Of course, they was much more like business, we have to produce, has shifted into something that is more sustainable. And that is also something that I try to help with my clients, because we have some systems of automation that we can, implement, and other things that can be possible to get some passive income or some passive revenue, so that especially if somebody is in the niche of the teaching or in services, this can be good. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It's not so different in the end, because you have always the visual part, and then the studio needs to be brought on and needs to go on, and you need to have some plans and some structure. So if you are a freelance and if you have a small business, for sure you need to implement some techniques, and this were the same then you can consult with and that you can teach to other, or that you can help implement other clients. So it was not so different in the end, because it was always a creative approach. The main difference was that with photography, you have also a very practical and tangible product. And right now with digital photography is not so difficult to do mistakes. But before it was, very uncertain. You were there, you needed to perform, and you needed to bring your product home, but you were not sure that it was 100% as you expected. With marketing is, in another sense, quite the same. You have strategies that you implement, but you don't know 100% in the end what it will become then as a result. So it is something like, it is a flow. While with the digital visual imaging, so for example, branding, website designing, this is much more controlled, because you can have more flexibility into changing and modifying it on the way. So these are, I think, the main differences. The most important lesson that I have learned is that is okay to do mistakes, and that actually they are not mistakes. So it's the failing part in a business is not only necessary but almost needed, to grow and to really show. I don't know who was saying fail quick and fail hard, but there was a businessman, an important businessman right now, I don't remember the name, but there was, I think he wrote also a book. It was fail hard, fail quick, so that you can really stand up again and do a better version of it. So I think that this was the most important thing. When I was younger, I was very demanding on myself. It's not always like that. It is a trial and error process, and it is a growth process. You have to see it much more like a tree, like something that grows and blossoms, and sometimes it takes time. I like the fact that I can coach them well, because I have experienced most of the aspects that they experience when they open a business, when they start a business, if they are a small team, if they are alone. So I think that I can do a good job because I have the experience to support them, and I like to see them grow. I like to see them blossom. I like to see them, or I like to receive emails after 5 years and say, oh, you were so right about that thing. I implemented that. And sometimes, they are not even my clients anymore. but or sometimes they come back and I say, oh, I just want to renew the website, and I thought immediately of you because it was really, you could explain what I got in my mind. I like to do this. The thing that I like the most is there are out there many people who need support and who need help, and they don't even know that there exist amazing people that is supporting them and is giving them the tools they can use. Don't do a website immediately, meaning that before, because usually, especially therapists that come to me say, oh, I am so good, but I need to be more, getting out the word of what I do, blah, blah, blah. So I need to do a website with a nice, it is, the website is the new, I need to have the business cards, like from 20 years ago. They think that having a professional website, professional image, and the visual image will bring them automatically clients and renewals. Wrong. The point is to start with a strategy. So I prefer, and the piece of advice that I give is, please before deciding to do a website or a branding image, decide to make a plan about what you want to do. That can include the website at a certain point of the timeline, but not immediately, because before you need to have a product to sell. And 9 out of 10, they don't have it. So first of all, when you know what to sell, you know to decide to whom to sell. And then you need to see, when you have the product, how do you communicate it out? And this can be made in a very simple ways, with social media, just with a newsletter, starting to collect, starting to go out and speak, but becoming really confident in your product and in what you do. This is in my opinion, the most important thing. And you can do a very simple branding starting out. You can find ways in which you can present yourself in a very professional way, even though you don't spend thousands of dollars to have a very polished image. Then this, you can do it when you start to get the revenue. You do another piece, you refine the website, you make it nicer, you see what it's not working. But first of all, product, because otherwise people want a website doesn't know what they want to sell.